Hello everyone, it's Alan at P9 Training, and in this video we're going to look at the transition from the 70s into the 80s and the transformation of the street gangs. In the last few videos we've talked about individual gangs and we've mentioned a load more, and I keep getting messages from gang members saying, oh, you missed my gang off, or you haven't added the North Kent and Agro boys and stuff like that. So what I'm going to do towards the end of this series, I'm going to put a definitive list out there of all the gangs that have been mentioned to us, and I have a few more special things lined up in some podcasts and some really famous gang members that I'm going to be interviewing very, very soon. As the 70s started to draw to a close, a lot of the earlier gangs had either moved on, they'd changed their names, or they'd started to transform into other gangs. Most of the skinhead gangs had started kind of fizzling out, and it feels like the Sham Army were the last remaining skinhead gang, the last of the skinheads. And one of their favourite hangout areas was in Eldon Square, up by the fountains, and in that kind of pit area that they had made, where they would sit and hang out. Of course there was still other skinhead gangs kicking around, but not like it was anymore. As the gang members got older, the culture started to change a bit. There was more activity in the pubs and clubs rather than on the streets. And as the gang members started to get jobs, go to work and get families, things changed completely. The lads who wanted to remain in gangs started to do it more at the weekends. They were working all week, so on the Saturday they would come together a little bit more in certain pubs and clubs in and around Newcastle, especially if Newcastle United were playing at home. One particular person who contacted us put it in words perfectly. He told us this: once these lads reached drinking age and they started going doing tune, they often clashed with other gangs they'd bump into. Likewise at the match. However, as football violence started to escalate, they realised they had to join up. The West End gangs, especially Big Lamp, all drank in the Magpie, then around town after the match. Hence the original Bender squad was formed. Soon lads from the East End, Benton, Walker, North Shields, etc. all joined. In one statement I'd been told how the gangs had transformed from early 70s street gangs into more organised 1980s football gangs. And just like that, the 1970s were finished. Next week we're going to have a little look at popular culture and how movies impacted the gangs. I also have lots of people from the Bender squad and the enemy who are willing to talk to us. I also have a few special guests from the Scotswood Agro boys and the West Denton Wild bunch who I'm going to speak to, so keep an eye out for them before we close the 70s off completely and move on to more modern times. Well, I hope you enjoyed that. Thanks for checking in, and I'll see you next time.